Hello and welcome back to campus. To the podlings at home, it is year 2 at Greendale Community College, and we are ready to start the first semester of Remedial Rewatch, Community 101. I'm your host, Kris Ingersoll, and with me as always, my dear friend and co-host, Randy Elaine. How are you, Randy?
I'm so good, Kris. It's always great to be here and be introduced by you to mix things up a little bit. It's a pleasure and an honor. I know how our guests feel now.
Yeah, you know, it's a new hat for me every time. It feels fresh. I'm getting used to it. But it's not just us in the classroom, of course. We've got our fantastic third, our fearless friend, the wonderful Tyler McCarthy. Hello, sir. How are you
Hey,
today?
guys. How's it going? I'm doing great. I was just saying before we started, I'm hyped. This is such a great batch of community episodes. And it I always forget just like moments before the recording that like Kris has seen this for the first time. And I just want to get this right and sideways.
Oh, yeah. The coursework this semester has been tremendous so far. So I'm stoked.
Hell
to
yeah.
get into it.
And I showed extra restraint this time around, like trying not to spoil Kris's takes. I asked him a couple of questions, but I tried not to go too deep because I wanted it to be fresh.
I have a few things on deck that I'm ready to like drop in the chat for Kris in the middle of this episode. So I'm excited.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Love that. Well, before we can get into my thoughts, your experience with the episodes, we've got to do the cheat sheet. Professor Randy, can you take us through the cheat sheet?
Yeah, let's go through the cheat sheet. This is the first half of season 2. That's episodes 1 through 11. Our beloved study group's little island of misfit toys is going through some growing pains as jealousy, overexposure, and codependence disrupt the balance in paradise. Although the members of this little family are getting much better at calling one another out on their flaws and shortcomings, when push comes to shove, they hold tight to their found family, even if that means fending off an opportunistic psychologist with imaginary magical Christmas weapons. And that does it, folks. You may have noticed from my festive attire that I want to talk Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas right at the top. I realize this is breaking our usual outline, folks, but the holiday season is upon us just as we hit the most famous community Christmas episode. So we've got to go straight there.
And all you outline fans out there who just slammed your laptops shut, give us a chance here, okay? I swear you'll be into this.
I mean, if you listen to my voice, there's a good chance you love an outline and you love a spreadsheet. So you might have just alienated a big portion of the audience, Tyler.
You stick with us. We're talking Christmas. We're talking Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas.
It's true. I've got Abed on my side. So, Tyler, why don't you kick us off on this one? Because you've had this in sort of like not only your community repertoire, but your holiday season repertoire the longest. What does this episode mean to you?
Yeah.
Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas. What is it? And do you love it as much as I do and as much as so many of our podcasting friends do? That's something I've learned prepping for this pod today.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And shout out to Randy who scheduled this. And, we're talking about this episode right at the right time. This episode's, it's crazy. One of the things I love most about this batch of episodes is season 1, it did introduce us to the concept of like the community blank episode, the community modern warfare episode, the community bottle episode, like taking these sitcom tropes, turning them on their head, taking these filmmaking tropes and like just doing a parody of one, a loving parody too. So some things that are so good. So I remember back in the day watching this, it was season 2. I was already like hyped on Community. I'd gotten all my friends hyped on Community. And by this point I'd shaken off the growing pains of like, is it good? Is it going to be good in its second season? And here we are. It's episode 11. Everyone's into it. And they're doing probably the most loving homage yet. Stop motion animated Christmas.
Yeah.
And not only do we get a little character insight into Abed, we get something we didn't get since the episode where he makes his first film, which is we learn that Abed's kind of a tragic character, or at least he was before he met this study group, before he moved to Greendale and like all of this, that, he's a kid who really needed a mom, but it's worse than his mom left. He, in many ways, seems to have burnt out his mom because of who he is.
Yeah.
And here we have a Christmas episode where he's learning that even in his most there's no nice way to say it, insane moment where he literally, not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally sees the world in stop motion animation as a coping mechanism for his grief. He has a collection of people that absolutely should be burnt out on his nonsense that simply will not be. If that doesn't hit you right in the Christmas feels, I don't know what is. It's an episode about found family and chosen family all getting together for the holidays. It's goddamn terrific, and it's hilarious. We get a little more John Oliver, which is great. This is definitely, it's such a fitting episode to sort of stick into your holiday playlist, even if the family doesn't necessarily know Community or your friend group doesn't necessarily know Community. This is such a safe one to add to the playlist with, like, I have a friend who, whenever she has a holiday party, be it a Friendsgiving, a Christmas party or something, she just has a terrific playlist going on the TV on mute with captions of, like, the Friends Thanksgiving episode, the Bob's Burgers Friendsgiving episode, like all of these. And this is just such a great, screw your Yule log, like, throw this on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to like step into the host chair here, but I'm wearing the Christmas sweater, so I figure I'm asking the questions right now for this segment.
That comes with a certain degree of authority.
Yeah, but Kris, I'm thinking of you because even since Community did this episode, there's been so much media out there that's followed suit, that's tried to do similar sort of homages. So how did this hit you as a brand new viewer checking this out for the very first time? Did it feel fresh? Did it feel like something that's been done a million times before? What was the experience?
Oh, no, it didn't feel overdone at all. This felt extremely fresh and ambitious and exciting, just like everything I've come to expect from this show after a whole season of watching it. It's been a joy to watch them take their stab at whatever genre thing they want to do. And so when the episode loaded up, because I was cramming for the exam, I think I told you guys, I was pounding episodes today getting ready for this chat tonight. And so when the next episode booted up and it was animated, I was like about to leave the room and I was like, no, pause. I can't miss 1 minute of whatever is about to happen here. And then it delivered on that promise in spades. End to end, this episode is tremendous. It is maybe even a perfect encapsulation of what is so masterful about this show. It's absurdity encapsulated. Earlier in the season, Jeff will say, is it just me or is this campus becoming more and more cartoonish every day? At this point, we are literally a cartoon. We are fully animated and it couldn't be more real. The themes, the point of the episode couldn't be more purposeful, more valuable, like more human. And that's like this show in a nutshell. So I loved this episode. I found myself weeping in the end like a goddamn fool because they break into their Christmas song at the end about the meaning of Christmas and how the meaning is like, it can mean anything. It means what it means to you. It means what it means to the people you share it with and the things you bring to it. And again, to see Abed come through like in Film 101 or whatever the name of that episode was, to see him come through something and have such a major breakthrough is so beautiful. I was wrecked when he went catatonic and was literally encased in ice. So what is this show doing to me? It should be so silly, and yet I'm so moved and I'm so heartbroken for him in this moment. And that brings me around to the John Oliver of it all.
Yeah.
Duncan. He has been like a pretty low-key villain, I would say, because he hasn't directly antagonized our group. He and Jeff have had this like kind of bro-y, zing each other energy from the first episode.
Yeah.
But upon reflection, he might be the most despicable person besides Pierce that we've really been exposed to consistently. Like, Chang is awful, but Chang, as Jeff will explain in a different episode, is what he is. Like, he's all right there. It's on Front Street. There's something much kind of grosser I'm finding about Duncan and his brand of despicable person.
Yeah.
His brand of unscrupulous and kind of gross. And so when that finally came around to being villainy that could potentially harm Abed, I was ready to dislike this man. Not in a real way, but I liked this villain turn for him. I was liked that another antagonist professor to have in our show.
Yeah, no one likes an opportunistic academic like this. It's very publishable.
Doesn't he
You need to share this experience with as many reputable journals as possible to get me out of Greendale.
He also has a great, I might butcher it because it's such a funny turn of phrase, but he says, like, I've been teaching psychology at Greendale for many, many years. So let's figure out how we can use this thing you're going through to help you as well. Like, he's only thinking about himself.
Right.
The Christmas wizard.
Christmas warlock.
And you make such a good point, too, about his villainy coming for Abed. And, like, Abed is obviously, like, the best of them, the best of us. Just, we love Abed. He's obviously the breakout. By this point in the show's sort of trajectory, it was clear that Abed was kind of the breakout star. And so for a villain of any kind to come for him at this moment of vulnerability, I think you hit the nail on the head, Kris. He's like, there's something extra about Duncan in this episode as a bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a classic episode. I share the enthusiasm you both brought to this. If I were going to put a lump of coal in the stocking for anything, it would be a very unnecessary shot at my beloved Lost season 1. But even by the end of the episode, right, you get to make of it what you will. So they redeem themselves. Kris pointed this out earlier, but you have this silly episode, the heart is there, but they actually do a Christmas special message better than most Christmas specials.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful notion that this whole Christmas spirit, whether it's a spiritual thing for you, a commercialized thing for you, a seasonal thing for you, whatever it is, it's this desperate fight against the darkest and bleakest days of winter. And because we're trying to fight it together, for better or for worse, we win every time. I'm going to have a lot to say about Pierce tonight. I think they find some scattered moments to deploy Pierce really well, but the best of all is probably in this episode when he cuts to the heart of what's hurting Abed so much is the fact that he's alone, and Pierce acknowledges that he deals with depression this time of year. It's tough to be home. He's lost his mom. I know they make a bit of a joke out of that because everyone's surprised his mom is even still alive to begin with. But it's this loss that he can't seem to process in a very healthy way. But yeah, so I love that he gets a little hero moment. He comes out as that squeaky little teddy bear, and he gets the purest smile out of Abed throughout the entire episode. But yeah, so much heart in this episode. But because it is the holiday season, we did want to spend a little extra time here. Why don't we just give this episode like the treatment of what are some of our favorite bits, like just in terms of the pure comedy, because it's so moving, but it's also so funny.
I really love when we fully transform our Christmas wizard into the Christmas warlock and like the action ensues, because the imagination of it all is amped up at that point even further. I think I really enjoyed that this reminded me of the Muppet Babies in a lot of ways. This episode is very much powered by imagination. And
a world of pure imagination.
A world of pure imagination. I wish we did get more Oompa Loompa songs. That would have been fun. So yeah, I think I really liked when it took that turn and we had, John Oliver was going full villain and now we were fighting back against him and everybody pulls their weapons, their magical Christmas weapons. They're keeping it on theme, but like clearly like cutting corners. They just want to be able to pull guns, what they call the magical Christmas weapons. Fantastic. And they all fire, candy and confetti and snowballs. And it's just perfect. They continue to be able to like up the stakes of the episode. It's this fantastic action sequence, but they stay on theme the entire time, and it really makes the most out of the conceit of the episode.
I love the moment too when they are like fighting John Oliver, and he through dialogue has that moment where he brings even the audience back to reality of being like, hey, you're grabbing me in real life.
Yes.
Like, was that for Abed? Was that a meta thing for the viewer? Like, who would say that?
No, I completely agree. For that reason, there's a part of me that wishes and maybe even believes there is footage somewhere, like of like B-reel of all of this happening actually in the study room.
Okay,
like, we could cut back.
So, Kris, it's funny you say that because I've been waiting for an excuse to bring up this point. As we know, I watched this as a COVID watch for the first time. I don't think I've been back to watch this episode since then. I incepted a false memory into my own brain. I genuinely believed there was like a cutaway joke at one point where we see just the study room in disarray. I believed that it existed and it never came. And I don't know if I made it up or if it got, cut from Hulu, but maybe it just feels like it would have been such a pure natural comedy beat that we all imagined it.
Same.
I don't
I feel
know.
like I remember too cutting back to the study room and seeing the actors actually worried about Abed. But I don't think that's the case. I think the only live action we get is in the reflection of the TV in the final shot.
Yes.
I don't know if maybe that would have like undermined the heart of it, right? Like maybe like giving it any gravity at all only works by committing to the bit, but you pull us out into the world and it's like almost too silly to allow any of the thematic stuff to really resonate. I can't imagine though. Like I couldn't help but stop thinking about Pierce, who's walking around as this little teddy bear, but in the room he's in his wheelchair. Whatever's happening in the room, he's using the blow tube in his wheelchair. So I couldn't shake that.
Unless he's run out of batteries again.
Jeez.
A running theme. I also want to give a shout out to the moment because I think it's very funny. It's a great read from Joel McHale. It's when Abed says like, "Oh, like this is gonna be the best Christmas ever." That's probably why we're all stop motion animation. And there's a long pause, and Jeff just goes, "I vote we all ignore it." Like yes, Abed is going through a mental health crisis. Abed needs them. The whole point of the episode is him finding his chosen family won't get burnt out on him. But look, we're all human beings, and if we had a friend who was going through this, there would be that brief moment where you were like, you know what? Maybe I didn't hear that. Maybe everything's fine.
Yeah. Well, Abed always has a bit going. But this one does, there's that acknowledgement that it's crossed a new line. The only other thing I want to shout out in this episode personally, before we move on to the rest of this incredible batch of episodes, is just the overall humor of Abed's imagination being so powerful that he's got like a fully realized map of this winter wonderland in his brain. He is the smooth operator, the expert. We're moving from moment to moment. And maybe my favorite joke in the entire thing is as they land in the winter wonderland, its atmosphere is 7% cinnamon.
Yes.
Followed by the ahs.
Yes.
Beautiful moment.
Yeah, he's like, that's not the Cave of Frozen Memories. The Cave of Frozen Memories is ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
He can tell you how to get
I mean, we can cut through. I wouldn't call it a shortcut, but if I'll throw you a bone.
Throw you a bone. Can I ask you guys one thing? A little bit of a spoiler looking ahead. Don't tell me too much, but are we done wrestling with Abed's mom? Will we ever meet Abed's mom in this series?
Not that I recall. No.
I don't believe we do.
Because I don't know that I can stomach having to deal with this woman again.
Yeah.
Every human's a human being. I'm sure if we got to know her, she'd have layers and nuance. Right now, she's very two-dimensional to me. And that Christmas card to her son absolutely wrecked me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very tough.
Absolutely wrecked me. That poor boy.
Yeah.
Thank God for his found family.
Yeah, not even half of a thought of like trying to welcome him into this family or make that family larger, like the one he's found at Greendale. Just cut out completely.
Yeah. I mean, freshman in college is like, you're older, but like to be like, oh yeah, Christmas is done is like gut wrenching. You're still kind of young, you know? That's tough.
And not even just because like I suck and I'm done. Like I have a new family. I'm going to keep doing Christmas, just not with you, you fuck. Awful.
Truly terrible.
Awful.
I think what's interesting is I think this batch of episodes is very much, it hits on a lot of themes of this group being codependent, but it also hits on a lot of themes of this group being like necessary for each other, like very what each person needs right now. And I think as we progress in the series, we deal less with who they were and more with who they are now and what that codependency does to them, for better or worse. So this was like a very formative episode in many ways because it is Abed sort of graduating into this new life, this new, person. We get a lot of Jeff acquiescing to this new life. We get a lot of Troy growing up and becoming a man. And I think that's what makes this batch so special and this episode so special.
Yeah, it's not. I was concerned in the first two episodes that this season was going to, you get a lot of backsliding from Jeff in those first two episodes. And I was a little concerned we were going to like, oh, we're really not going to allow these folks to grow because we need to be a sitcom where we can keep going back to certain beats. And I was so encouraged to find over the course of these 12 that that's not the case. That those are honest backslides, because backsliding is what we do as human beings as we grow and evolve, and we're never perfect and we're never complete. So yeah,
He caught something at Greendale.
love that, dude. Kelly was in the room with me. I'll get into this more in the next section maybe, but she hasn't been watching the show, but she's been in the room a handful of times. In that moment, it was like, like I see what the show's doing. That worked right there.
It's great. So much of this batch works, which I guess if no one else has any Christmas thoughts or holidays uncontrollable Christmas thoughts, let's jump into it, because this was, I mean, hell of an intro, but this was a great series of episodes, batch of episodes. I shared my, personal experience with it a little bit, but Randy, I'm curious to know, what was this like for you the first time you saw it, back when it was a COVID watch?
So back when this was a COVID watch, I was far enough removed from the original release dates that I already was feeling a sense of nostalgia. But all those little nostalgic pop culture moments hit me just as strong this time around, because they were all things I had completely forgotten about. Maybe the most of its time moment in the whole batch of episodes is when they bring us back to those like stupid auto-tune videos using newsreel footage. That was such a moment for like a year or two. And I will confess that I did have my own favorite auto-tune video. Mine was the Dayum Five Guys Burgers and Fries review auto-tune video. That was the best of the class for me. And I've got to ask if you guys remember that moment. I think it's a moment best put behind us, but I'll admit that I lived it.
No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I absolutely remember this moment. I have two favorites ready to go, off the cuff, no preparation. I was living in New York at the time, and hide your kids, hide your wife. That was huge. And I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis. Both of those loom pretty large in my memory of the time.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. I feel like if
Yeah.
I have to go back in time and slay this particular meme demon, like that is the head of the snake. That one. Yeah, for sure. That one. I know there was also, I don't know if this is in the same vein, but there was just like a YouTube channel called Auto Tune the News, and they came out with some genuine bangers that were just like fun to have on. Yeah, what a moment in time this was.
But yeah, it was that. It was the height of the Betty White Renaissance.
Yes.
The Dean shouting out his love for Charlie Kaufman and this abstract storytelling. And then this isn't so much the cultural moment, but just my personal nostalgia. Again, because I didn't grow up with it in the moment like you, Tyler. The shout out to The Last Starfighter, a movie that I grew up watching, recorded off television on a VHS quite a bit. Really hit me. But I do have some vicarious nostalgia. I got into a chat with my coworker, Kathy, at work today. Like you, Tyler, she spent the first leg of her college career, like not at like her ultimate goal school, really at a community college for, just, more of as like a financial decision than anything else. Not so much an I'm lost in my life kind of thing.
Thank her for her service.
Yeah. Smartest person I know, an author who's published multiple books, incredible. But she's not listened to this podcast. I did not tell her your story. She reported almost verbatim your experience with your first year of college, of saying this show got it exactly right, how she had this like very random group of friends. There was literally like a 50-something-year-old guy in the group who planned events for everyone. It was wild to hear her just go point by point through the exact story you told us in the first episode. So that helped raise the experience for me.
That's incredible that this is a somewhat universal experience, because it feels like it is. These beats. This is an expression I've heard Dan Harmon use on his podcast, but like there are these like life beats that just create a series of traffic cones that you just simply have to weave your plot through sometimes.
Whoa.
I use the traffic cone metaphor all the time because it's so good. There are so many things where it's like, look, these have to be here, and then just get through them.
Yeah. That Dan Harmon's good.
Yes. I mean, this batch of episodes, but I loved everything you said, Randy, because you're absolutely right. It's just, there's so much nostalgia packed into these. It's so of the time. but also they all age very well. There are a few pop-ups in this where like they even say the word 2010 and you're like, oh my God, that was a lifetime ago, but they're all still so watchable. And I think the timeless.
Yeah. 2012, Armageddon, all that. Yeah.
End of days. Whatever happened with that? Are we good?
Okay, for now.
Cool.
There's always another one on the horizon.
Yeah.
One day it'll be right.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, that was great. Kris, you're like the MVP of this segment because you watched this. Presumably, you watched the last episode of this batch earlier today for the first time. What were your thoughts?
Mere hours ago, my friend. This was just an exercise in falling further in love with each and every one of the characters who populate this insane world. That is everybody. I mean it, from the Dean down to Starburns. What's his name? Alex.
I got so excited because I thought you were asking, and I was like, his name's Alex. I know.
Teacher.
Yeah, really very, very good. And
some real Annie energy from Tyler over there.
I'm a good student.
I got a cool this batch. Very excited to see that. This, to your point, Randy, the nostalgia, very much what I've enjoyed about the show throughout has been being transported right back to this moment in time. Zombies. What a moment. The zombie moment lasted longer, probably, than anybody could have anticipated, but very much of the moment.
I don't know why. I'm kind of done with zombies.
Which is like a bold claim to make in 2010, because you still had another solid 3 years of zombies.
Yeah.
A lot of zombies yet to come. Absolutely. Also, I, have spent time in like a evangelical Christian environment, and I have been exposed to folks who were very certain that 2012 was the end of everything. And so to hear Chang immediately respond with, like, it's not end times, it's not 2012 yet.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss, like, hit me right in a familiar spot that I really appreciated. And then he does the math on how long, like, the infection will take to overtake everybody. Year and a half. 2012. Absolutely brilliant. That all really worked for me because, we lived this. And I think what helps is that we were like of the age of these folks at the time that the story was being told. So even though I wasn't watching it live, I'm very much relating and was living everything they're living, even if it wasn't on a college campus. I also shared these episodes with my wife and daughter in a way that I hadn't shared episodes with anybody in the past. Kennedy hasn't seen a minute of the show except for the Christmas episode.
Oh, that's
she
so
and
nice.
Kelly came in the house right as I was getting into that one and finishing up my cram session for the evening. And normally I would have turned the show right off and shifted like to my laptop if I had to keep watching, sequestered myself. But it was the Christmas episode and it was animated, so I left it on.
This can't possibly get depressing.
Well, even if listen, we talk about some stuff with a 6.5-year-old, so I was ready to wrestle with the themes of it all. And I was actually grateful for the story that ended up getting told and that I got to watch with Kennedy and got to share with her. She had questions along the way. She was curious about Abed, and it led to so many great little talking points between the two of us for a little bit.
Hey, about 10 parenting points for you. That's awesome.
Amen.
But what struck me as funny though was later in the evening, I was having to finish up an episode on my laptop separately on the couch. And she popped over to ask me a question. She saw the screen. She goes, "Wait, this isn't animated?" I said, because it's not always animated. I go, "It's almost never animated." In fact, and yes, as I said, Kelly has been in the room too. And something always has more life when you're sharing it with somebody else. And so even having those little moments of like a chuckle or an awe and an acknowledgement of the stuff that's working on screen, especially for somebody who isn't really actively watching, just like kind of letting it exist. The fact that the beats are still hitting and still working for a little emotional impacts was nice to share. So yeah, despite really cramming this one and watching them all on a truncated timetable, I enjoyed every minute, and every minute still looms pretty like individually in my memory. Maybe that's the brilliance of the way the show can give us different flavors, a la the MCU. Another shout out to the Russo brothers, but in the same way that a Captain America film doesn't feel just like a Thor film, At least for a while, that was true. Not every community episode feels like every other community episode, despite all being a part of this batch of 12.
Mm-hmm.
There's like some significant differences between each one of these episodes thematically and stylistically. So just a joy.
I think about that a lot. Every time I watch a particularly wacky or cartoonish episode, I love that this season opens with them discussing how the show has gotten more cartoonish. And I think normally this is the kind of thing that would bug me. I think about like showing someone just the pilot and then jumping to the Christmas episode, jumping to the KFC space episode, all of that, and being like, I feel like a promise was made in the pilot that has not been kept. But, that's why I don't make insanely good, long-lasting television, because, I would be like, this show breaks the rules. This show is not doing, it's not grounded anymore and all of this other shit that would make it so that I would be making a worse show and we wouldn't have the genius that is Community. I think about that almost with every episode. But so speaking of that, and this batch of episodes and all of these things, this pocket of 12, I feel like had the most, I don't know what you'd call them, thematic episodes, the episodes where we take a break from reality and we do a space movie, we do a zombie movie, we do a Christmas movie and things like that. So I'm curious, and I think that'll dive us into our next segment, which I'm realizing now Kris was supposed to introduce, but you know what? I've taken the reins. I'm cowboying this meeting.
Hey, where's your Christmas sweater?
I should be wearing a Christmas sweater with what are the shoulder pads that people in the Navy get?
Yes. That's some nice epaulets.
Yeah, epaulets. That's the word. Actually, you know what? Cut that all out because I'm coming to the next. I'm not doing another episode without epaulets. Thematic epaulets. But no, I'm
much like the tiny captain of Pierce's drone.
I
think he's got him.
There's a little man in there. But I'm curious what we all would pick in this batch as our favorite episode in our next segment, which is I Need Help Reacting to Something. Nope, it's not called that. It's called Streets Ahead. I can read. I'm literate. Been doing it for a while.
Tyler, I think you're streets behind now.
Yeah, I not only did I cowboy the meeting, I botched it.
Oh my goodness!
Randy,
yeah, streets.
Let's
ahead.
start with you, because this is wild, and we can take the same ones, but it's so crazy. 12 episodes, so many good ones. What stands out to you as the best of this? And feel free to give a few honorable mentions.
I've got a giant list here. I thought I wanted to go last to let you guys pick first, but I actually feel kind of freed up by this. Like, I'm just going to go with the one that's my personal favorite type of episode. And I don't know if you even remember this, Tyler, but before we decided to do a full Rewatch podcast and we were like spitballing different episodes, I was trying to think of like, what's one episode that might be a fun introduction to this study group? That's an episode that I love. That like if Kris were going to jump in as a newbie, he could maybe catch up to a certain degree. And I love the episode Cooperative Calligraphy, the bottle episode. I love it for several reasons. I think the most important reason I love it is they take this very small offense of the missing pen, and it becomes the catalyst for bringing out all of their worst fears and frustrations with one another. I think perhaps the most brilliant moment of an episode full of brilliant twists and turns is when we're about like a third to halfway through this whole affair. And Annie says it's just a pen.
Yeah.
And every head swivels. Just a pen? Now? It's just a pen?
I feel like we can all count on one hand the amount of times in our life when a room full of people has just swiveled towards us and it's like,
but it's perfect because it's no longer about the pen. It's about whether or not they can trust one another. And it's also believable. Perhaps the fact that I work in a school is fueling this a little bit. But that person in a group who finally breaks because they've had to do everything one time too many, and no one has quite enough respect for the sacrifices they've made. And there's just that one last item that is going to make them snap. And I love how they took something so simple in a stretch of episodes full of so many big swings and made it work. At the end of the day, they're not really locked in the room. It's their commitment to one another that keeps them locked in this bottle episode, which is wonderful. But on a lighter note, in terms of just physical humor, the moment when they decide they're all going to strip behind the tables is funny enough, right? No one can hide the pen. But when Abed then instructs them to shake enough to dislodge the pen, it's one of the best bits of physical comedy I've ever seen. Does this episode do it for you guys as well? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love that you noted that it's their commitment to each other that really keeps them in that room, regardless of what they're telling themselves. Jeff cancels a date to stay there.
Gwenifer.
And he's even willing at that point to be like, I'm doing a bottle episode. Like, Abed called this from moment one. He was afraid of this. I love that he says, like, it's wall-to-wall emotional nuance. I may as well like stand in the corner with a coat on my head or something.
Wall-to-wall facial expressions and emotional nuance. Might as well be in the corner with a button on my head. Unbelievable.
Meanwhile, I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time.
Right. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was going to go places it didn't ultimately go. Like, at first, I thought there was some sort of a prank being pulled on Annie. Like, somehow they were in on this together. They all seemed a little too coy in the way they were deflecting her questioning to begin with. But in fact, it was all just so they could be like that resistance to setting up the bottle episode. Yeah, ton of fun.
Kris, I prepared this because I don't know if you've ever seen this. I'm dropping a brief video in the chat. This is the moment in the episode before Annie even asks about her pen where you see the monkey take it from the table.
Oh, God,
it's only 3 seconds long.
Way.
Keep an eye on the pen on the table. You will see it disappear. And for the viewer on YouTube, he's watching this for the first time. We get to see his facial expression. But this is the attention to detail that we get from Community. Not only do they give us a resolution with Annie's boobs coming back, having been living in the vents and nesting, but they actually took the extra mile to, if you were paying close enough attention, you could have spotted the pen get snatched. Do you see it?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Who does this, like, what is this show?
They paid a person got paid a human amount of money to crouch under that table and with clearly some kind of tiny monkey hand snatch
yes
so that we can have this joy right now.
I am floored.
Isn't that great?
This is absolutely tremendous.
I was so glad you picked this, Randy, because if you didn't pick it, I think I was going to, and it's so hard. This is such a kill your darlings batch because there's a chance that like so many of these great episodes weren't going to make it onto the table, and this did. And you're right. This one is, like I was saying to you, Kris, earlier, there's a for better or worse quality to this chosen family. And some of the best episodes are when the codependence comes out, the negativity comes out. And this was not only wall-to-wall emotional nuance and facial expressions, it was like an airing of grievances that these people had. So fun to watch. And it does the heightening. You get Abed calling it from the get-go, but then it heightens to a point when the dean comes and just sees the room wrecked, and Abed calls him non-miraculous son of a bitch because of what they've just gone through on this journey.
And he's so hurt.
Non-miraculous?
I got a blood test done earlier this week. Routine, everything's good. And in fact, the doctor called me and said, your blood test was unremarkable. And I was like, hey, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's not what my mom says.
Yeah, man, I got great blood. Shut up.
Very special boy.
But yeah, great choice, Randy.
It's not a principle anymore. It's a pen.
Dude, really, really great stuff.
And I'm sorry, just the beautiful ending of let's all buy into Troy's ghost theory. And he has a lovely ghost story in the chamber ready to go.
I wasn't ready to put it past this show to have a ghost exit that grate and for some reason take the pens and be some sort of approximation of this old-timey ghost that Troy had described. An even better callback that it's his monkey from season 1, though.
Yeah. I mean, so good. And that it's just living in the vents, quietly stealing stuff. And the Easter eggs of like the balloon from the Jeff and Britta wedding and all of this stuff. It's just been collecting things that, a monkey would probably collect in the night.
He's got human being merch.
Yep.
He's got a little human being doll. Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
It's just so good. I'm so glad you picked this one, Randy. But
thank you.
Kris, I'll pass the hot seat on to you. What do you think is the best episode of The Batch? And no wrong answers. In fact, there's so many right answers.
Yeah.
That's the problem, man. Too many right answers. And I'm so grateful that we did Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas first together so that none of us feel pressure to pick that here. We did that one well. So I think in my heart, it's absolutely, this is the one I messaged you about, Randy, I think. No, maybe I forget. Messianic.
You guys are talking without me. You guys are hanging out without me.
Randy had asked me if I had gotten to epidemiology yet, and I think I was just on at that moment, Messianic myths.
So which one's that?
Messianic myths in ancient peoples is Abed, the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was perfect. What an excellent way to further play with like Shirley's role as the Christian one in the group. Abed, the filmmaker, and the ways in which his tendencies can affect everybody around him. And in this case, it infected everybody around him, not infected the way the next episode will infect everybody, but very quickly the whole campus gets swept up in this thing that Abed is doing. And it's such a perfect, silly, but perfect illustration of like our tendency as human beings to gravitate towards these figures, these messianic figures, where by the time he's standing up there with the long hair wig and the white shirt with the chest out, doesn't matter what he says. Everything sounds mystical and mind-blowing, and it's sweeping everybody up into this thing. I don't know at what point Abed knows it's not going to be quality. I think he's also swept up the whole time until he finally reviews it. And that's where this show really got me. This episode really got me, because throughout the episode, they're doing really intentional biblical stuff. And some of it is called out loud. Pharisee, and we know we're doing like Pharisaical accusations, and we're going to have Pontius Pilate. We've got the Romans coming because the Pharisee is bringing in the authority of the land. And it's all very biblical. But then we get Abed in the Garden of Gethsemane. Like he separates himself to this this room painted with vegetation. So he's like immersed himself in the garden like Jesus to fall to his knees and pray to the Father. Unbelievable. And he prays for deliverance from this thing, just like Jesus does. And then he concludes, but I'm not here to do what I want. I'm here to do what you want, God. And obviously I've got to live through this thing. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to walk out, and I'm going to face it. Brilliant. So there's subversive stuff happening where they're knocking down nonsense religious behaviors while still upholding certain like really interesting spiritual truths. I love that Abed is a person who experienced the Bible much like most of us. He's like, I forget exactly what he says. I thought it was all this, that, the third. He names 3 very rudimentary ideas from the Bible.
Yeah.
He's like, but this guy's pretty rad. Like, I read the whole New Testament, and like this dude is rad. He's like E.T. and like all these
Edward Scissorhands and Marty McFly combined.
Marty McFly all combined.
Which all of our theologian friends are like, damn it, he got it in one.
Dude, honestly, like I love that without anybody else trying to feed him anything, without anybody else telling him what to think or feel about the text, he just like read it and was like, oh my gosh. And he had his own experience and his own takeaway from it. Like it for him, it was this whole message about film making, and we're all in this film, and man, this show is wild. I can't believe how heady this show was willing to get. Like this episode could have been totally a joke. It could have kept it super surface level and 2-dimensional and really just done the Pharisee moment and the Pontius Pilate moment and kept it like, we've all been to Sunday school, or you did CCT, like some of this stuff. But it instead chose to actually make it thematically rich, as the show often does. When Shirley and Abed both grow through this, when their relationship becomes closer, when they're holding hands in the end and he puts his hand on her hand, it's all so wonderful. And so, I just really enjoyed the truth of this episode, along with the absolute nonsense.
And she gets her Jesus rap. Ice cream everywhere, but never on your thighs.
And I'm glad you called that moment out too, Kris, because it's when was the last time in a network sitcom you saw two characters hold hands and say, "You humble me," or anything that poignant or that introspective,
and like mean it, and it wasn't like a part that played for laughs. There was nothing, no subtext. It was just the truth of that between those two characters.
Absolutely. I love that you went with this episode, because I remember whenever I see the thumbnail to this episode, I'm almost tempted to skip it because I'm a little like, by design, this episode gets a little up its own butt. And it like, I lose track of like what Abed is even talking about. But upon rewatch and watching it in batches like this, I think another thing that surfaced about this batch was seeing Abed.
Mm-hmm.
There are people like Abed out there, kind of, for better or worse. There are people like Abed. There are people who may carry a diagnosis that Abed may or may not have, that kind of thing. And what I love about this show is Greendale allows Abed to not be a background character, a character people are managing. Quite the contrary. For better or worse, he can have an impact over the whole campus. Everyone loves him. Or as he's discovering how to be more relatable to people and things like that, like in the episode where Abed kind of becomes a mean girl for a little bit, it can skew negative. And I love that he's just, like you're saying, Kris, digesting the Bible and doing his best to apply his very literal, story-focused brain to it, and coming to the conclusion that a lot of people of faith come to, which is that the greatest story ever told, quote unquote, is not necessarily a great story to sit and tell or get meta with or anything like that. It lives in those gray areas, those X factors, those places of faith. And to see someone like Abed discover that in such an Abed way is great television.
Yeah. I didn't even get to the Pierce of it all. Sorry, Randy. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I would love to hear you get to the Pierce of it all, because that's where I was going to go as well. But I want to hear your take as your favorite episode.
Well, we all know that I believe Pierce is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
He's the absolute worst. This is an episode that allows him to be really vulnerable without undermining with some of that just gross Pierce-ness that we seem to have to get. And maybe that's Chevy's performance having to insert in certain things. But in this case, like he's a few episodes now removed from the loss of his mom, right? So he's been wrestling with this now for a little while, not doing great with it, even if he doesn't know that yet. It's such a fun little conceit. We've had, what's his name? The other old guy?
Leonard.
It's not Leonard.
Leonard. Yeah.
Leonard. Leonard's been floating around antagonizing Jeff since season 1. The old guy, bad boy of the campus. And this was totally fun, subverting Jeff and, Britta as the mom and dad, and and having the young people being the lame ones, while the old people were the young, fun, rebellious ones. Was all tremendous fun. And again, very thematically poignant. Very thematically poignant. So while it wasn't, the meat and potatoes of the episode was Abed, I loved watching Jeff have to wrestle with his care. With the fact that, no, I don't want you to change me as the emergency contact for Pierce to add Britta, though.
You got to add mom on there.
Yeah, but also leave me. Really wonderful. And they even take a minute to give us like a reason to care for and about Leonard. It doesn't amount to anything. We don't go further with that, but they just like dropped it in there. So just in case you were doing too much vilification of Leonard, his kids don't care about him. They don't want us to call anymore. What a bummer that was. And how grateful are we that Pierce has Jeff, that Pierce has Britta, that he does have somebody who's going to pick him up when he's gone a little too far. And go to the car. I don't want to hear your excuses.
Yeah.
A little tough love, but I'm here. I'm bailing you out. And that was beautiful. So I really enjoyed watching Pierce wrestle with being the oldest one in the group and having this desire to go be the young one in the group maybe for a little bit, and finding his way back to his real friends in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, what a fun way to use those characters. Like not the part that an elderly performer gets to play very often.
Right.
Like the whole la-dee-da. Just mocking the youths, like, I don't care about their stupid videos. Why should you care? Maybe this is partly flavored by me growing a little bit older. I still don't consider myself an old person, but I've reached the level of aging where like people a full step below me on the age scale are starting to make jokes about being old. And I'm like, hold up now. When did this happen? Because I thought I was like first generation complaining I'm old too early, but now I've been kicked back. So yeah, I feel maybe like I'm losing my value, much like puppies every second they age.
such a brutal line from the dean.
Shout out to the
I
dean.
can just see
Yeah,
Randy like in a group of slightly younger people being like, hey, you can't just be talking about young. You know, in my day, we had to.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's great. Those are two powerhouse episodes, and I hoped that by cowboying this segment, I could position myself to go last, and it would give me an advantage. But you guys chose such good ones, but I'm still so very torn because again, this is wall to wall good episodes, great moments.
Yeah.
I think the two that I keep coming back to though, just because at the time I remember like people would be saying like, oh, Community, that's the show that does like theme episodes every week or something like that. And it's like, well, yes and no. But I think two of the greatest theme episodes the show ever did are in this batch, and that is the space travel episode, Basic Rocket Science, and Epidemiology, the zombie episode. I was a huge zombie person, like all about early seasons of The Walking Dead before it got awful. Consumed every zombie movie, every zombie game. My friend who like I went to his house to watch the show with, once the Thursday night lineup was done, we'd fire up Call of Duty Black Ops and play like the Nazi zombie mode or whatever. We were very into it. And this episode does do like a very loving parody to it. But I do think I'm going to end up ultimately giving the edge to Basic Rocket Science. I think for a lot of reasons, namely it's the decision to put Abed in mission control and give us that sort of story. First of all, I think it's got the best cold open of any of these theme episodes, any of the batches. You've got the guy running down the hallway, like you've seen that in every Brockheimer movie.
Right.
And then you go in and the detail of the dean controlling this meeting in the shadow of one of those transparency projectors. Randy, you're a teacher.
Yes.
What are those called?
The overhead projector.
Yeah. And like the lighting is all messed up and he's just, okay, we're aware, close the door. As I was saying, City College has this, laying out the stakes, and then just hard cut to the team in their astronaut jumpsuits. And they're really just there to power wash this weird themed KFC thing. And then it's also one of the first episodes, and this is a theme that runs throughout the series and will ultimately come to a head in a few seasons. But it's anytime Troy becomes a bit more of a man, I get a little choked up. I love the journey they take Troy on. I think there's something very poignant to me about the idea of just every school had a Troy. Every school had that Letterman's jacket guy who earned that Letterman's jacket and earned the swagger that came with it. And I'm very interested in the story that happens once, an arbitrary date in May comes, they graduate, and this person doesn't have the status that they once had. They don't have the built-in chances to be cool, to be a hero, to be all of these things. And so we're seeing Troy like hang out with Abed, who he might have stuck in a locker like a year and a half ago, learning to just like all of this nerdy stuff, learning to build a blanket fort and all of this. So getting Troy growing up and being the captain of the ship is terrific. I also love, it gives us the E pluribus anus flag, which Kris, you'll be happy to know, isn't going anywhere. That is the symbol of Greendale Community College throughout the rest of the series. And it gives us some school spirit. Greendale may be a toilet, but it's our toilet. Nobody craps in our toilet. I think that's great. I love everything we get about this episode, the growth we get. And the biggest laugh, I think, I've got one definitely like top 10 biggest laughs from Community is the hard cut to Abed in the crowd at the end with a cigar out of nowhere, just a cigar and a smirk on his face. Like the man knew, he just had a prop ready for this role as the seasoned on the ground like general. It was perfect. So I think this episode definitely one of the best themed episodes they have. Taking shots at KFC for absolutely no reason. And I also love the gag too, where Chang just wants to be involved, and he comes over with a clearly like the kind of like prop a child would make, but like it fits because this is all very silly. And he says, "I found a way they could reroute the auxiliary power." And Abed just goes, "Reroute to what?" And Chang just backs away, and it's like, yeah, this is silly, this is weird, but this has stakes, this has rules. Like, and Abed is the arbiter of them. I think that's so funny to me. And that's got to be my tip. Again, shout out to epidemiology because they do a zombie thing right, but so great.
Tyler, we are in the Buttermilk Nebula, or wait, no. Yeah, it's a sticker.
That's a sticker.
Pierce being claustrophobic and giving us a whole separate sort of element of stakes within the stakes, really, really great. And not pointless, not just silly.
Yeah.
It's what creates the damage necessary to, solve the problem. He rips the screen off, and Jeff sees we can get to the driver's seat. Tremendous.
It all just works.
Yeah. And not the last we've heard from City College. Not the last time we will see some product placement and or shot at a corporate entity on Community. They'll find new and creative ways to do that right up until the bitter end, for sure.
This was great.
I forgot they've even got, speaking of like of the moment, they've got the like double down sort of reference where Chang comes in and he's got the sandwich and he's like, I was worried they think it was too like shilly, but then he's just eating the sandwich and talking about it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Names the sandwich by name.
But really, how many schools would let you get a degree in theoretical phys ed?
The Armageddon of it all was really potent for me. Apollo 13 too, but some of the Armageddon was just so good.
Yeah. Truly. And also when Pierce is hallucinating and the Colonel is like being menacing, there's something very funny to me about the Colonel being like, gonna get you, Pierce.
Dude, absolutely perfect. I agree.
We got to get to extra tasty.
Yes. This thing works. Like it does. It's just funny. It all just works.
Yeah.
I'm glad you took the time to shout out epidemiology a little bit. That was definitely one that I wrestled with choosing. The production design on that is so fantastic.
Yes.
Like just the Halloween party itself before it gets full zombie mode is already like, why is Greendale so good at throwing this Halloween party? It's very spooky in there. All the costumes are really solid.
I mean, the xenomorph, come on.
It's excellent.
Love that. And the biggest, there's 2 back-to-back laughs, and they're all just insanely good reads from Donald Glover, where he comes in and he's got the suit, the mech suit on, the Ripley suit on, and he's doing the sound effects. And then the zombies just swarm him, and he realizes, I can't move. And I don't know why I thought this would work. And then they finally get him. And this is like, I think, wall to wall, I love Shaun of the Dead. This is the funniest thing to happen in a zombie movie. He gets bit and he's like, all right, you got me. You did what zombies do. Lay off. Like, that's so funny.
Congrats. I'm bit.
He's like annoyed with them. Like, okay, you did the zombie thing.
Hey, stop swarming me now.
It's true. It does belong in the same class with Shaun of the Dead. Like, just the way they play with the tropes, like who's hiding their zombie bite. But oh no, we've got 2. And Britta also thought she was special.
Troy, be honest. Are you a zombie? I will mace you. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Dean Gaga.
Dean Gaga was, blew me away. When Dean Gaga first came on screen, I thought it was Abed for a moment.
Yes.
With the wig on, he almost looked like Abed.
Well, you know what? On that note, Kris, I need help reacting to something. Because we talked about our favorite episodes, but there was so much character growth from our characters and also just so many funny bits. So starting with season 2, we're going to mix up how we approach this section to try to keep ourselves honest. And I just want to hit on some of our key players as much as possible. Feel free to smuggle in related moments. But let's start with the Dean of it all. We told you back in season 1, the Dean had not yet become what the Dean will become. And he took a lot more steps forward towards his final destination. Guys, what are your favorite Dean Pelton moments from this stretch?
For me, it's hands down from episode 9, Conspiracy Theories and Interior Design.
Are we going to say the same thing? Okay, hold on. I can't wait. Say it. I'm so excited.
No, for me, it's just the screams in the end as each next reveal, each next murder is executed. His poor little heart can just barely take it. He's on the ground. He just wishes it would stop. No more shooting. No more reveals. No more subversions. He's gonna die. His heart's gonna explode in his chest. It's absolutely hilarious. It was one of my loudest out loud laughs. I forget which. Maybe it was when the cop finally came in and shot the drama teacher in the chest. Budlofsky from Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Great character actor.
With the most realistic fake blood up to that point in the bit.
Yes, he's like on the ground. He's crumpled. He's on his knees. His body language is hilarious. The physical comedy is great.
And I love the moment too where he's been fake shot a couple times. He's pretending to be dead, and then there's one more reveal, and finally he just stands up all right, I think I've done the math. That's the last one. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Brilliant. He seems like he's annoyed, he's done and exacerbated, but he's got one more up his sleeve. The true showman of it all.
I was excited because I wrote this line down. It just hit me extra hard on this rewatch. I don't know what it was, but it's sort of a throwaway line from the dean when they're walking when Jeff says I'll go show you the classroom, and they're walking away.
Yes, I knew you were going to say this. I've fantasized.
Yeah, it's I have always dreamed of playing charades with you, Jeffrey, but not like this, and never on dry land. Never on dry land. The dean's crush on Jeff is one of my favorite things, and but not like this,
absolutely.
and never on dry land. So he's just having fantasies about them. I'm guessing just
openly
wading through the water together, playing charades. It's so funny. I hope it was an ad lib by Jim Rash because it's so funny.
I was about to say the same. Yeah. I really hope it was an ad lib. That feels like a nice ad lib from a great.
It's such
he's certainly capable.
Such a weird character building dynamite joke to say as the audio is going out and you're transitioning scenes. It's a nuke for that moment. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's similar to another moment they refer to his sexuality. He's and that's hardly the whole truth.
Yes. I'm glad you. There's an episode coming much later where they deal with the dean's sexuality, and I think it's a very progressive episode where he's basically
cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the dean, there's gay, there's straight, there's a lot in between, and part of that in between is the dean. Yep.
Yes,
he's terrific.
I'll just shout out once again epidemiology. Not only Chef Gaga never reveals her caterer, but also just the voice memos mixed in with the ABBA playlist is just pure comic gold. What a zombie soundtrack. And also, I don't know if you guys are up to date on Stranger Things, but they have a big Fernando needle drop. But they did it here on Community first.
Great song.
I love an anachronistic music choice, and all of this action happening to ABBA is so funny, and kind of works.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely,
totally.
All right, moving on to our next character. This is a little bit of a light stretch in terms of Professor Chang. Well, no longer Professor Chang. But do you have any favorite Chang moments in this stretch?
Without a doubt, the moment where a whole scene has happened and he reveals that he's just been laying on top of a bookcase the whole time. And the cut to him on top of that bookcase, it truly rivals that scene where from the first Conjuring movie where the hag is on top of the wardrobe. It's terrifying, and they all scream accordingly. I think that was so funny.
Yeah. His Smeagol Gollum moment was great in this batch of episodes. Is that episode 2 or 3 maybe of the season? He's desperate to get into the group, right? And it's weighing more and more on his psyche. That was absolutely perfect. I thought he was going to fully break. I thought that the pop and lock contest was going to finally fully break Chang, full bad villain, but not yet. Not yet. He's still holding out hope that he could be a part of this group. So I think for me, the bit of all bits for Chang this season was when he was finally punning his name left and right, much to Jeff's chagrin. Let me Chang your mind.
It's not even clever. You're just using it for the word change.
It's so good. It's really very good.
And I'll just say he really sold his snowman in Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas with that third button.
10 more seconds on that third button.
He made it work. All right. We've talked a little bit about Pierce. We have our issues with Pierce. We've already teased that we'll talk about the Chevy of it all in a future episode. I think there are some moments that work a little bit better than usual with Pierce in this stretch. But did you guys have any Pierce moments you liked outside of the Abed episode?
It's challenging in this batch because this is sort of the first time we're seeing, season 1 happens and Chevy Chase behind the scenes had his friction. And I think now we're starting to see like them trying to give Chevy what he wants to do, which is why you're getting a lot more episodes where he's removed from the group doing bits on his own that I think Chevy Chase finds funny. Like in the episode where Troy turns 21, he's not interacting with the cast. He's just getting a few one-off scenes where he's struggling with his wheelchair. And then has that moment with Shirley, which is like, I feel like maybe the Dan Harmon heart of like, okay, we have our yucks, but now let's get some heart into this. But there's a lot of like Pierce removal from the group this batch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Pierce, certainly I really enjoyed the episode where his mom has passed and he doesn't come with us, the audience, on that journey towards some growth and understanding after his mom's message, but it's there. There are a few beats that really prove him, though, to continue to be the worst.
Yeah.
1, I outbid 3 hospitals for this chair.
Yeah.
That I don't need. Christopher Reeve would be devastated to see him in that chair using his mouth to move himself around. Horrifying.
Yeah.
Spoiling the trampoline.
Yes.
Simply, like, his unwillingness to let them have that, his need to insert himself. And I can appreciate the need to insert himself because he's insecure and he wants to feel like a part of the group. He doesn't like to feel excluded. But he can never wake the F up and get out of his own way when he realizes it's like, oh, it's actually like kind of something special. Maybe I should be mindful. He just comes in and he bulldozes the whole thing and immediately ruins it. And then, last but certainly not least, somehow he found a way to do something worse than to physically pants Shirley. He emotionally pantses Shirley in front of her ex-husband, now boyfriend, and reveals that she might be pregnant by Chang because his feelings are hurt and he's not going to get the popcorn partner he wants. This man sucks. And he's trying, like, more and more it appears that no matter how much growth he has, no matter how many moments of like, aw, and like our characters really want to love this guy. They really want to accept this guy. They really want to have patience for this guy. This man is always going to let us down.
Yeah, Kris, I think you captured both the best and the worst of Pierce really well. He is the worst. I think your favorite episode is maybe his most vulnerable moment where there's the most like possibly redeemable stuff below the surface. So I'll just say I think his best just pure joke delivery in this stretch. It's going back to my episode, The Cooperative Calligraphy. But when there's no reason for anyone not to tell us the truth at this point. Pierce raises his hand and with perfect delivery just says, "Is it me? Or has it become really obvious that Jeff took the pen?"
Oh, you want to
is the perfect comment in that moment and perfect timing and delivery. So that's all I've got on Pierce. Let's get to Shirley.
Yes.
She was emotionally pantsed, as you said, Kris. But what's Shirley going through in these episodes? Do we have some favorite Shirley moments?
For sure in the zombie episode where Leonard is dressed as a pumpkin and he's like coming at her as a zombie and she says, "Leonard, you better back your pumpkin ass up or I will make a pie." Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
That's a rad line.
Yeah, that is a really good line, man.
I loved Shirley this batch because we got a bit of her like hyper religiousness, like kind of getting in the way in the first season, particularly with the Christmas episode and things like that. And it's been nice to see her growth. Like in the Christmas episode, she's the first one to be like, "Happy holidays as a modern Christian. I've like learned to open myself up," and that kind of thing. But I think we do get a lot more of her backstory, her at-home story. I think it's kind of tragic. And it never really gets resolved. the bar episode where we find out that this was the place she went when she was kind of at a very low point. We think of one of the things that makes Greendale so special is like everyone's at rock bottom. Everyone has a story. It's a place free of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the group found a place to go like one rung lower for poor Shirley. And they're not kind about it either. And so I think that we meet her ex-husband. She's pregnant and she has that bombshell dropped on her. We get a lot of good acting from Yvette Nicole Brown, softening. You humble me, like things like that. She's maybe not getting all of the best jokes. She's definitely got some good ones, but like, she's doing some of the best emotional heavy lifting in this batch.
Yeah.
What about you, Randy?
Yeah, so I agree with everything Tyler said. I'm also just going to shout out in the psychology of letting go. While the show's having like not its best Bechdel test moment, as Annie and Britta's tensions and frustrations with one another and the way they interact with men are coming to the surface. At one point, Shirley is just sitting back. She takes the most joyful bite of a potato chip that anyone has ever taken. And there has been subtext since season 1 that she always feels just a little bit outside of the group, a little bit outside of the social circle. These two young things like fighting with each other really annoys her. And she gets to kind of see them at their weakest, suffering for it. And I feel like she deserves a little moment to enjoy that for just a second. And I think she handles it perfectly in that moment. So love that for Shirley. Yeah, you're both so different.
Yeah, I like that this batch of episodes helped us wrestle with actually how much there isn't quite an age gap between Shirley and these other folks. Like I think in the first season, she highlights how the fact that she like had a family, she became a mom, and she married, had kids, makes everybody assume she's this older woman. And there's a handful of moments in these episodes where she shouts out like, "We're basically the same age." She does it with Britta and she does it with Jeff as well. It's like, who do you think you're referring to here, sir? For me, it was definitely in mixology when we're in the bar with her, and she's wrestling with that. I wish maybe we spent more time helping her accept that, like, no, your friends actually are not gonna judge you for this. They're not gonna mock you for this. She needs to take those pictures and walk away. She can't quite accept that they mean what they're saying. They're like, no, we like it's nice to see a different side of you that isn't so perfect, and like this is okay. I wish she could have accepted that a little bit more, but I really I enjoyed those beats of the episodes.
Beautiful. How are we feeling about Britta in this stretch of episodes? We start out, certainly is worth mentioning, with the fallout of the finale of season 1. She's declared her love for Jeff. Jeff steps out to share a kiss with Annie. We kind of introduce and mostly resolve that right at the top of season 2, but certainly there are echoes of it throughout the season and his interactions with both Annie and Britta. But how do you feel about the deployment of Britta this time around? Tyler, what do you say?
I love Britta was always a struggle for the show because she sort of starts out in season 1 as the romantic interest of Jeff, then kind of like the only one who's got Jeff's number. We talked about that in the last couple episodes. In this one, they were tasked with really making her a character, and I think we get a great dose of what Britta ultimately becomes in the calligraphy episode, where they're like, okay, well, if you're going to leave, we're going to search your bag. And she goes on this whole like anti-fascism rant that at the time seemed so quaint. But and just like about like welcome to the machine, and she's like holding all of her stuff. It's just Britta taking herself too seriously and latching onto a cause, a big picture cause in a small picture setting. And I think we got a lot of that this time around. And I also
there's no such thing as a quick invasion of civil liberties. Before you can say 1984, the thought police are forcey warsing.
And I also want to give a shout out to the Blanket Fort episode where they're all chasing the professor, and then they go to the Turkish district and just find Britta just like in sort of a harem surrounded by like hitting a hookah, I think. Like She's just Britta, like the hints we get into Britta's personal life, especially in the bar episode.
Yes.
Too, like this girl, she parties, she hangs.
Yeah, I think that's something that I found really interesting in this batch of episodes, because she's maybe the one character who doesn't get too much direct attention. She is very much a part of the ensemble in this, and no one episode really turns the spotlight to her too directly. But we do get lots of little hints about Britta and who she is inside and outside of this group and in her other life.
Yeah.
She, in that first season, especially in those first episodes, you do get this impression that she's like pretty self-assured, got it together. She's got Jeff's number. She's not going to get wooed by this like very typical guy. She's not that by any means. Like, I love that it's the whole run of condoms that comes out of the bag. I love that she can be a little bit messier than she originally was trying to project herself to be. I love that things like her political leanings are still super present, and more and more we find that like that's very much a performative part of who she is.
Yeah.
And a consistently performative part of who she is. Not just like an idea we had for one episode in the first season, but truly a part of this character. And like with many people in real life, it doesn't go very much past like the surface of, I want to be the kind of person who is this way.
Yes.
Right? Like we see that with some of the charity moments. Like I liked the way they played with the contentiousness between Annie and Britta in the season. Like we get to the point of oil wrestling at one point. Like that's all really good Britta stuff, where she's able to admit that I was just jealous. She tries to mask it with purpose and reason, but it's all just jealousy. I love that she's somebody who, this is ideal character behavior, but like she's flashing that dude for concert tickets.
Yeah.
Like we're learning more and more about Britta and how like, I don't think she would think that's very feminist, or she would think that that is ultimately feminist.
Yeah. And she'd be the first to grab you by the lapels and tell you why it's feminist.
Yeah. Yes. Or like, despite the fact that she's comfortably within the drinking age, she still has a fake ID contact like on speed dial.
And pretends not to be offended when her ID gets like extra scanned, even though in a way it's flattering, but she's also just like, this is something else I got to deal with. And
the hotter you are, the more willing they are to risk the fine, she says.
And Kris, to your point too, in the first episode of this batch too, when the other women on campus are like, hey, you were vulnerable, you put yourself out there, we really like it. She's willing to admit like, yeah, I like getting positive attention from other women. It's not something I get often. It's something we've learned about her in season 1. And so when those two girls come up to her and they're like, we love you, it's like, if you're paying attention as a viewer, you're like, we know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
And I think we caught all the important ones, but like maybe my favorite line delivery is just when they're egging Abed on and he's like, oh, like RoboCop. And she's like, yes, exactly like Rowboat Cop. Rowboat. Is just incredible. She says it with so much gusto.
Yep. I love a character who's just so comfortably rushing headlong into being wrong. Just like Rowboat Cop. Yeah.
Well, beautiful stuff. So as Kris noted earlier, we start with a really strong focus on Jeff, but I don't know that that's necessarily where we stay in this batch of episodes. But how are things going for Jeff Winger, and what were your favorite Jeff Winger moments this time around, Kris?
Yeah, maybe there's no one, but it's each time that he comes around when he chooses to be there for Pierce. He chooses to embrace that role. I love that he runs to go see Rich in the end, in the rain. And that he's open about like, I want to learn to be like you so that I can abuse that power. Please. Like I'm growing and I'm the same. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say about Jeff in this. I like the consistent, honest growth we can see him continuing to go through. I like that his relationship with each character continues to deepen. I really enjoyed the time he spent with Troy in the trampoline.
Yeah.
I really like the way he embraces resists his role as father and then can't help but behave in that role as father when they trick Pierce into believing they had not forgotten his birthday, but in fact he had forgotten that they had remembered his birthday because he's on the pain pills. Troy takes it a step further to try and extort money from Pierce.
Yeah.
And mom, Britta, reprimands him and he looks so abashed. And then dad Jeff. And it's, he can't help it. He is the dad of the group, and Joel McHale performs that really, really well. So yeah, I'm curious to see where he continues to go. I think I'm a little bit, the codependency of it all is pretty clearly expressed through Jeff and the way that he will fall into romance with either Britta or Annie in any kind of vulnerable moment, whether it's drunk with Britta or jealous with Annie. Because like ultimately it's not really about romance. It's about ownership. It's about that codependency, possessiveness. So that'll be interesting to continue to track, because that certainly isn't healthy, but also I think that they're aware of it. So I think that maybe they can manage it. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you clocked that they're sort of aware of it too. Because it'd be, as a viewer watching this for the first time, I remember being a little afraid of like, like Jeff and Annie, I don't want it to happen. Like that's irredeemable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good that you're like, they've got a sense of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's partly telling the truth when he says the kiss was just about him like lusting after a young woman. But you also know that's him trying to get Annie to back off, right? Like there's a point to which that's true and a point to which he knows it's not great that he has feelings for Annie. And he's trying to give her an excuse to step away. But yeah, they've made it pretty clear that they're not 100% done with that yet. We have not had our last Jeff and Annie moment. I think for me, like, I just appreciate how comfortably Joel McHale can switch between like, I'm the obnoxiously self-obsessed, handsome leading actor. I'm going to go with the most obnoxious Halloween costume ever and carry a soccer ball around with my $6,000 suit to say that I am David Beckham. Yet he can also be the most unraveled in the whole drama over the pen. If we don't find it, our children will find it. Like this is going to become a generational battle. We're going to stick with it forever. To watch him dissolve, learning that his cholesterol is a little bit high.
Yeah.
There is no God.
And the great line read from Patton Oswalt shout out, I'm sorry, did I accidentally tell you have AIDS?
Because I've done that before. I wrote that line down too. That's so fun.
Patton Oswalt, brilliant.
He's great in this. When he shouts, there is no God. Yeah. Tell us what you really think. Am I right? Like, it's just so cheesy.
Jeff can come unraveled with the best of them, but he's still cool even in a zombie apocalypse.
I'd also be remiss if I didn't. I regret not bringing this up when I mentioned my favorite episode, because it's also got maybe my favorite Jeff Winger line. It's a line that I've actually used in life, where Annie says, "This is all my fault," and Jeff goes, "Yeah, it is," and she's taken aback, and he goes, "Hey, sometimes when you go fishing, you catch a boot." Great line. So useful. We've all been guilty of it. We've all recognized someone being guilty of it. It's like, yeah, Annie wanted someone to comfort her in that moment. And you know what? It's not going to happen, kid.
Yeah. I do it live on a pretty high percentage of our pods, in fact. So
sometimes when you go fishing, you catch a boot.
Somebody's going to be like, that synopsis sucked.
Can't wait. That'll be a fun way to mix it.
You don't come after my Randy.
Watch me come through the screen.
Well, we already started shifting into it, but let's talk about little Annie Adderall. How was her effort to step into adulthood going? How do we feel about Annie in these episodes?
I really like, some of my favorite Annie moments are the ones where she's a little bit immature. And the one I'm thinking of is in the first episode too, where it's like, she's really got to play this kiss with Jeff cool. And she's trying to. But then there's that moment where she's like, by the way, we didn't just kiss. We technically Frenched. I read about it on the Kissometer and National Review. And then she walks away.
Yes.
Or when she's like talking about a blow off class and she's like, maybe I'll just blow off language. Blah, 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 blah.
Just flopping on the ground. Maybe blow off standing.
When it's so the moments where she just reveals she's like an 18, 19-year-old girl, it's very kind of fun.
Yeah. Zany Annie is the best.
Yeah. Especially because there are moments of real maturity in this season where like, she's becoming more and more of an adult in the face of her interactions with these people and her experiences in life. You can see the experiences working on her and maturing her. So it's helpful to remember that she's 19 when we're in the bar for Troy's birthday and she's drinking root beer and doing her accents because she's created a whole character to get away with her fake ID. Truly charming and lovely.
How are things going down there in Corpus Christi?
Raised on a trout farm, she was.
It's just so fun, that episode too, because it's no one.
Shout out Tig Notaro.
Oh, hell yeah. Tig Notaro, the best.
I forgot Tig was here, so that was a nice surprise.
Played like underutilizing Tig, but also like she's doing a great job as the just chill bartender. But I love it was such an unforced thing. It makes so much sense that Annie would get tasked with passing a fake ID and feel like the bookworm in her is like, I need to adopt a whole new character and personality. And then I think it's such good writing that she likes the aloof person that she gets to play.
Yeah.
And sort of has an identity crisis about it. I think that's so funny. No one asked her to. No one challenged her. Mm-hmm. This was all just internal. Annie having a B story with Annie. Or I guess technically, what was her name? Cheryl from Corpus Christi.
I don't know who I am, she says.
Yeah, she's got that zip code down. Yeah, she's a drifter, a floater.
I'm too busy living life to learn $5 words.
Yeah. Christmas needs more presents than a haircut in a box.
You see what I did with the word present? Yeah, that's really, so like zany Annie, immature Annie is definitely my favorite Annie. I'm grateful she can continue to grow, but yeah, it's great when she's immature.
I can't move on from this section without just mentioning, although it was very zany, the whole bit with Annie and the chloroform.
Yes.
She can't stop chloroforming people is incredible.
Part of me's worried we're not giving that
incredible
whole episode
humor.
Its due because it's so good. The episode where you get to go to Jeff's law firm, Drew Carey is there and he's got a hole in his hand because why not? That whole episode is crazy.
Drew Carey's there.
Yes.
He drops a grape through his hand.
The chloroform and Troy doing his little leap over the body because he's freaking out is so fun. Yeah. Abed, I've got one foot outside reality and even I'm freaking out right now.
Although I love the, oh no, we all got chloroformed. What?
And now we're all coming back to consciousness.
And I kind of like it was like a rare, that was a real misstep on Abed's part. That was Abed's plan.
Yeah.
It gets put into action and falls apart immediately. And they're all just like, it was like, okay, Abed, not your best.
Yeah. I love that moment. Like, this show is so good at doing the thing they're going to do because they're doing tropes and beats so well. So we're all looking at Annie as she's caught. Like, wait, I'm confused. Who's she then?
Yeah.
Here comes another chloroform. It's inevitable.
Yeah. And she's queuing it up a third time and Troy has to go, would you stop? You've so quickly started to use chloroform as a crutch, lady.
It's a real...
Yes.
Annie has shown, Annie will do some stuff to get what she wants in this world.
Mm-hmm.
She's like working with a different college to get accepted in. She's got to do some subversive stuff over at Greendale.
It comes out, too, that she lives in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
The sunny, bright, sundress girl, may have to scrap a little around her apartment building.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. What else do we want to say about Abed? We started this pod with Abed, but what are some other favorite Abed moments to shout out? We love him. He made it into our favorite episodes quite a bit, but what else do we want to talk about?
Well, Kris, if you want to, I've got one in the chamber for sure.
He's just a glue guy. He continues to be the glue guy. He's the one who keeps everybody together. Nobody relates to everybody else in the group as well as Abed does. So, I don't know, any given episode, if you're looking for the humanity, if you need a temperature check on how weird is what's happening, often he's the most sane person in the room as he's observing the insanity around him. So he's just the character who I often like to watch on screen, even when he's not really participating in what's happening. Because usually even his face has a great take on what's happening.
Yeah.
For sure, it's the first episode. I think it's the first episode of this batch. It's when Abed is really bending over backwards to try to make the Jeff and Britta relationship make sense to him, to work within his worldview. And there's a few moments in these batches where someone, I think at one point Annie actually says the line, this isn't silly anymore. This got real. And the moment where everyone's sort of tossing the hot seat and Jeff comes at Abed and he's like, oh, the whole, I can't separate life from TV thing. It's very season 1. And Abed stops walking, gets in Jeff's face a little bit and says, I believe the line is I can tell life from TV, Jeff. TV has structure, it has rules, it has charming leading men. In life we have this. We have you. And it like, he lets it linger and walks out of the room. And it's like, Abed, to your point, Kris, is the most sane one in the room sometimes. And that's, I think, a great example that he's also not afraid to, metaphorically cut a motherfucker.
Yeah, Jeff lost his Hawkeye status.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think that's a great Abed moment. I also would be remiss if I didn't point out as well, Kris, did you notice Abed's secret plot line of delivering a baby in the background?
Again, no.
There was I believe it's episode 3, in the background of some shots. This is a longer one, so you don't have to watch the whole thing, but right now. But in the background, Abed is just having a B plot where he befriends a woman who's pregnant, gets into it with her boyfriend, and then ultimately delivers the baby. And it's all just happening in the background of our plot. Like Shirley sitting on a bench watching Britta and Annie fight in oil. And if you look close in the background, Abed is delivering a baby in a parking lot.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing Abed gets to do. Troy, Pierce, Jeff. Imagine Jeff having a plot like that and not making it the first thing he says when he walks in a room. Abed's got stuff going on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, in the immortal words of Britta Perry, I don't even believe in God, but I love me some Abed.
Yes. I think that she speaks for all of us.
I think that sums it up. I decided to put Troy last on our list of characters, largely because of what you were talking about earlier, Tyler, this path toward manhood for Troy. There are a few great moments we've pointed to already, but I want to give you the first crack at this one. Do you have any other favorite just Troy moments here?
I know I mentioned, but I want to mention it again. The leap he does over the body. Donald Glover is just killing it in this batch. This is, at this time, Donald Glover, like we knew him from Derek Comedy. And then this was such an up jump for someone that a lot of us like old YouTube nerds, when we would break away from the auto-tune, the news stuff, we would find these sketches and these comedians doing great things. And then it was like, those of us in the know were like, oh, he wrote on 30 Rock while he was still an RA in his dorm. And now he got this role.
Yep.
To see him shine in season 2 this way, and to have, Dan Harmon, the Russo brothers and all the creators give him this story of like, he's got to become a man. He's got to do all of these things. He's got to break out of his shell in order to do that. He's got to shed so much so that he can build himself back up. And I think it all really comes to a head in the episode where he turns 21. First of all, the line read of like, Mom, how many lives have I been living is so funny when he realizes that everyone isn't 10 for 2 years because 5th grade is hard. It's just him, buddy. And then just seeing Kris, you mentioned earlier that scene where he's trying to extort Pierce and there's that tug of war between mom and dad, Britta and Jeff. That continues throughout the whole episode. And he sees alcohol break them down to a point where he can finally see through all of their bullshit and just knows like, for the first time in my life, I am floating above these two. I'm not like desperately climbing a ladder to be their level of cool, their level of adult. I'm going to be my own grown-up. And my own grown-up gives Annie a little drunken pep talk at her very dangerous door.
Yeah.
And then gets in the car and apologizes for flying off the handle about finding out that the bar they were arguing over is you know what I mean? And telling Abed not to be a tattletale. He becomes the dad driving the car in that episode. And I think and I mentioned it before and I'll say it again. Anytime Troy experiences growth, experiences becoming like manhood, there's something about that hits me right in the heart. It's so good. Maybe it is because I was at a community college for that time. And it's like, shed who you thought you were, figure out who you are now. And listen, no offense, kiddo, but you're not starting from a great place. You weren't the valedictorian. You're not at some Ivy League on a scholarship, but here's where you're at now.
And he's so fun. He's so funny. I don't ever want the child to go away, and it will not completely go away. I want him building blanket forts and all of that stuff. I even love seeing an interesting backslide, right? Like when his attempt at flirtation does not go well at Halloween and he tries to pivot to being a cool, sexy Dracula. He's got like a toilet seat cover around his neck that says Dracula on it, showing off those abs. But yeah, you're right. It's the birthday episode. just the superficiality of Jeff and Britta and all of their barking at each other over what a cool bar is, what's the right drink to order, right? He doesn't end up having the drink, but it's a beautiful sentiment that he wants to have his uncle's favorite drink. It's a perfect choice for his first drink in that context. It's not cool enough for Jeff and Britta. But the fact that he maybe makes the ultimate cool move and just leaves it sitting there to drive everyone home, to go through those moments that you already mentioned, just to have those revelations. You see it's more than just a joke, like Troy is capable. And the fact that Donald Glover can flip that switch and we don't question it for a second shows what a powerhouse he is. And he's continued to prove to be in his career since Community.
Yeah, it's so easy to say now, like, oh yeah, Donald Glover, he's a huge star. But back at this time when this was going on, there were so many of us who like knew him from the YouTube days who were just, at least for me, I was experiencing like pride. I was like, I'm so proud of you, dude. Your talent has taken you there, and the show rules, and you rule in it, and all of that. It was fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that the show is letting Troy take himself seriously sometimes, right? Like, he very much could have remained a very sticky character in the bunch who was more one note than not. But it's lovely to watch him grow and mature. And that speech to Annie is perfect. That would have been my pick for the best Troy moment of this batch of episodes, is when he's able to just share some truth, because he's discovered some for himself that evening. Less about Troy himself, more about the show through the prism of Troy. In another show, the idea that he's unaware that he's turning 21 and is like discovering that he was lied to would be a way bigger deal. But it's just sort of like, no, it's set dressing.
Yeah.
It's like incidental to the plot. It's like what spurs us on, but not at all a conflict for this character. Just one more thing in a life of deceit from his mom.
Yeah.
Really hilarious. I also just want to celebrate his performance of Zen. Joe McHale will do a great job too, but it's really, the tone is set first by Donald Glover as Troy, as he's discovered this trampoline, this secret garden, this place of absolute peace. The show subverts that in a way that I never saw coming.
Yeah.
And then the show kind of says, like, but maybe you should have seen it coming.
But maybe you should have seen it coming. I mean, there's one thing they didn't show us that they then are like, oh, then there was this moment.
Yeah, there was one pretty big one, I guess.
It's going to be a maze. Which, again, all of that feels so quaint and innocent. Less so in 2025 watching now. But that probably helps take the blow away from how awful Pierce is for ruining that for them.
Yeah.
That like, oh, actually, maybe they shouldn't have been there anyways. That guy kind of,
Well, yeah. Chris, I'm actually glad that you brought up the whole trampoline bit, because I think it's time to move on really to our final segment. This is a rebranded pop section. And this time it's more about just a rapid fire recap of those last few moments that we need to mention. We need to get them out of our system before we pack it in for the night. And I just want to double down on that trampoline sequence, just the serenity on Jeff, but especially Troy throughout that entire sequence. Jeff, you've been up there for an hour.
Yes.
It's a beautiful turn. Yeah. You're no longer jumping, you're bouncing.
I love that one too. I love,
really
I also love the physical comedy of Troy crying as he's double bouncing. The idea of someone crying on a trampoline is so funny.
Don't make me do this.
Yeah.
I love that. I also love a great Troy moment, or a great line that I wrote down, was when Britta sort of mocks him and Abed for like building a blanket fort. She's like, I want to do something a bit more adult. And Troy just immediately shrugs and goes, okay, enjoy eating fiber and watching The Mentalist. Take him down.
Sick bird. I also love, just back to the trampoline real quick, I love that the show allows that to be so consequential. Pierce is in a wheelchair for the next at least 5 episodes. As of episode 12, he's still in that wheelchair with 2 broken legs. It could have been just one of those things like, oh yeah, that happened, but we're not going to really pretend that it happened.
Shirley and Chang in the bathroom too. Like these things, it all has consequence.
It all has consequence. Abed bit I didn't get to celebrate earlier, painting the fake tunnel after Jeff's cartoon comment and like not being able to go through with it. And the heartbreak on Troy's face. No, Troy, you don't need to believe. I didn't really.
I may have done some real damage
Smells,
Yeah.
smells can make you float. And your hearts are shaped like hearts.
And then it was a callback, too, because you mentioned the moment, too, where Jeff's like, this campus is getting more cartoonish by the day. And Abed says, I painted a tunnel on the side of the library. When the paint dries, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have done some real damage there. He says about Troy. That is so good.
A moment of humanity from Abed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't really do Betty White. Of course, Betty White is amazing.
So good.
Her fully subverting Jeff's like speech in the end. Like, oh, that's amazing. But you know what? I'm gonna kill you.
That gets me every time. Like, I'm going to use
You can put them all together to make the perfect one.
I'm going to use this to attack you, and you use respect to defend yourself. And then Jeff trying, I respect you. That's why you fail. Terrific. And that they bring her back just for like an outro where she's with I believe we're led to believe the Maka Maka people talking about Inception and not spoiling it for the one guy.
He hasn't seen it.
She's terrific.
Oh my God.
Yeah, very good.
What else? The whole Blanket Fort episode. You know, we'll return to Kris put a pin in the Blanket Fort concept, but that was very funny, and I love the read Troy does. It makes me laugh every time, where they're complaining that the conspiracy theorist guy got away, and Troy just goes, "Isn't that him over there playing the Traditsniks?" Like, just like we'd all say, like we all know exactly what it is.
Right. Just naming that traditional instrument.
So funny.
Shout out to that character actor. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of good stuff. He was in that show Grounded for Life, which was on for a while. That was like surprisingly good, if I recall.
He was like the uncle on Grounded for Life. He was in The Departed. He was the sketchy cousin in Departed. Again, he's Budlowski in Pineapple Express. So when he popped out of that classroom pretending to be Professor Professorson, I was pretty stoked.
Etc. Did you just mispronounce etc.?
It's like puffs of hot air from the mouth of a ghost.
Oh, I love your commitment to describing all of these great lines, Randy. When you bust them out at the perfect time.
Yeah, really great.
You know, I've got to find my function, but shout out to Fluffy Town. You've got to love the Blanket Fort Village. Yeah, they filled out the proper paperwork for the Latvian Independence Parade.
They have the proper permits. What do you want from me?
Don't give me that look.
Pierce's mom's memorial tunnel.
I love that.
The Civil Rights Museum, of course.
Means a lot to Troy that Pierce's mom passed away, right? He's living there. He had some time, and I love that doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
The memorial bridge for her is lovely.
Oh, shout out to
what do you guys think?
Another thing of the time, too, is the very first shot of like season 2 when it's like, all right, we're back. And you see all of them waking up. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Troy waking up in Spider-Man pajamas was because there was a big push that I believe ultimately gave us Miles Morales to have Donald Glover play Peter Parker. And that was like that was like I think his one and only wink to it. I think he was very classy about it and wasn't like joining the chorus, but this was like one way in which he was like, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
That was a moment that really stressed me out. I won't lie to you. When the season opened with such a bold statement of like, here they are in their personal space. You've seen them on campus. But guess what? I was scared the season was going to spend more time off campus.
Yes.
Thank God it didn't.
Well, do you know what my favorite thing about that is we sort of get a glimpse, but this is like the batch of episodes that's maybe the most diorama-centric, and they're being introduced to us in dioramas of their life. Great. It's not a real genuine look.
You're right. I never thought of that.
It's a series of dioramas, and that is just such a beautiful motif for this stretch of episodes.
That's so great.
You smart guy. Love that.
Whew.
What do you think?
I just have to get one more in that I couldn't live with myself if I didn't mention. It's just, I love the cranberries. And when Abed is trying to force a wedding during the whole, game of I love you between Jeff and Britta, and we get to play on the song Linger. And Britta's in love with Jeffrey Winger. And Abed hired an Irish singer.
That's my favorite.
is an all-time great bit for me. So,
Yeah, agreed.
And the touch of the singer is holding the lyrics too. I think that's also very funny. She's got a little flashcard where she's like reading as she sings.
yeah.
I think that's a great detail. Like she didn't memorize this.
Right.
I've been singing that song for
Me
a
too.
month. Yeah.
She's as confused as we are as she's reading the cards.
I don't think I remember the real lyrics.
Did you have to let it linger?
I don't think that's right. I think it's
I
Jeff
agree.
Winger.
Randy, you're outvoted.
I've heard it both ways.
Oh, this was a delight. The amount of times
Do you really
I've
think
just
so?
chuckled in this. This was such a good episode.
Yes.
And unpacking it with you guys has been so great. Good batch, rather.
Yeah, likewise, my cheeks hurt. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
But what do you think? Have we done it? Did we do the thing?
The answer is no. It
Yeah,
would
this
take
was-
6 hours to properly do this batch of episodes.
Yeah, no, this was exactly our target 1 hour, right?
Yeah, we absolutely stayed within an hour. I guess with that,
Have you
I
guys
will
been shooting
take
for an
us-
hour?
Not
What?
really.
Wait a minute. Oh, classic. Well,
It's Christmas, you know?
it's a time of indulgence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Consider this extra 45 minutes your gift to me.
And quite frankly, we're in the golden age of Community. I mean, there's so much good stuff up to the end, but these are the moments to linger, if you will.
Yes.
Please do. Please do. That's okay. So we've seen the value in each other. We've gotten streets ahead. We've reacted to some things, and we've popped all the pops there are to pop. Yes,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, podlings at home. Thank you again for joining us in the classroom for another semester at Greendale. This was an absolute blasty blast to discuss. Before we go, though, let's talk a little bit about the other work we have available to you in the world. I'm going to throw it to you first, Tyler. Where can the folks find you besides this illustrious podcast feed?
Yes, absolutely. Please go listen to the podcast. If you like listening to me, please, you'll love listening to me and my wife, Allie Nelson. We do a podcast together on the Pop Break feed. So if you just go to where you get your podcasts, hopefully not Spotify, listen on Spotify. They're all good. But go to the feed, go to the Pop Break, and you'll find our show on there along with a lot of other great shows. But we are not couple goals. We talk about romantic thriller movies, erotic thriller movies. The most recent one we did the movie Indecent Proposal from, I believe, 1993. It's another watch along, except instead of a amazing series of television, it's kind of so bad they're good movies. And occasionally we do get a solid right across the plate good one in there. So please go check that out. And while you're on that feed, listen to all the other shows on there. The Pop Break is doing some awesome things that these guys are even a part of. So I'll let them get into their wares as well.
Randy, where can the folks find you?
Well, you are right here now listening to a subset of the Media Lit podcast where Kris Ingersoll and I treat each piece of media like great literature. And, find us on your social media. You put us into your search engine and you're going to find us, media/lit pod. You can follow us on just about any of those places. But more than anything else, we desperately want your emails. We want to hear from you at I'm going to give you the wrong email address right now. You should find us, in fact, at media.slash.lit at gmail.com. We would love to know what you would like to hear us cover. In season 3 coming up in February, we would like to take some requests for an episode or two.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise us. We've heard from our friends and the things that they love, but we want to hear from the podlings. So please reach out. Please follow us on all the socials. Follow us and subscribe to the pod and help us get Media Lit to more folks. And when you're done there, head right on over to the Pop Break to our good friends over there. Because you can also find me on the music podcast, Podolay, a Beck appreciation podcast with one Kris Ingersoll and the great Justin Mancini. They've indulged me in this project studying my favorite musician. So much thanks to them. Kris, if I'm not mistaken, that's not your only role in this Pop Break family.
That's true. Thank you, Randy. Aside from Media Lit and Community Rewatch and Podolay, I'm also the co-host of Batman by the Numbers over at thebluebreak.com. My great friend Dan Cohn and I have just wrapped up a fantastic year exploring all things Superman. We're usually a Dark Knight-centric pod, but we took a year off to celebrate the Dark Knight's best friend in the Man of Steel. But for 2026, we're really excited to zero back in on the Dark Knight. No spoilers here, but we're going to be doing an exploration of eras. I'll leave it at that. So tune in month over month to the Batman by the Numbers to find your very favorite Batman topics. We do rankings and deep dives on films. We do drafts. We try to have a blast over there. And usually we're featuring large panels of some of your favorite pop break voices. So check us out once a month at the Batman by the Numbers pod.
All right. I think that does it.
That'll do us for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us in the classroom. We'll see you next semester.
Lates.